I'm not sure if like many people are aware, but the TDSB, which is the Toronto District School Board, um, they passed a vote to make the jabs mandatory for students to return to class, for in-person learning. So I'm gonna pull up an article right now which helps explain it all. Okay, so this is from True North. This is from True North. It says Toronto school trustees vote 13-4 to make jabs mandatory for students. Canada's largest school board is pushing to make mandatory jabs a condition of returning to the classroom on January 17. In less than an hour on Thursday, Toronto District School Board trustees voted 13-4 to have the COVID-19 jab made compulsory under the Immunization of School Pupils Act. Efforts by Trustee Chris Tongs to have substantial debate about what he characterized as a moral and ethical decision were quickly and vociferously shot down. There is a lot of anxiety among parents around immunizing children aged 5 to 12, Tong said. Clearly perturbed with efforts to derail the compulsory jab efforts, long-term trustee Shelley Laskin insisted the board had already supported the move via a letter from the chairman in September, as had the Ontario Public School Boards Association, OPSBA. We follow the direction of public health, she said, a sanctimonious tone to her voice. We don't consult the world on public health measures. Well, I'm sure you don't. I mean, it looks like you guys don't want. It's like you guys don't want to face any like you guys don't want any like debate or anything when it comes to like voting to like when it comes to pushing these jobs. So yeah, I'm sure like you guys yeah, I'm sure you guys did this stuff behind closed doors without any like consultation. So yeah, I'm sure you didn't consult the world on that. So then it says former board chairman Ron Pilkey insisted they had to do whatever they could so students could come back safely. TDSB spokesman Ryan Bird said if the jab is included in the Immunization of School Pupils Act, students could be suspended for not having it. Although Bird mentioned that there are accommodation/exemption provisions under the Act relating to one's conscience or religious belief, he also said parents would be required to file an affidavit that the immunization conflicts with their sincerely held convictions based on the parent's religion or conscience. Despite the board's vote, the final decision would ultimately rest with the chief medical officers of health for Ontario and Toronto, Kieran Moore and Eileen Davila respectively, and from there require government approval. Well, what are the chances of I'm sure like the chances of the health officers approving this is high as I doubt they would push back against something like this. So if when it because now they're already like trying to force like 5-year-olds to get the jab. So I'm sure like these medical officers they wouldn't be against the vote. I'm sure they would support the vote as well as the government. So then it says Davila is already on record saying jabs should be mandatory for school kids, but she hasn't referred specifically to the 5 to 11 age group. Jabs for that cohort were just approved for use in late November of last year. Moore indicated in October that he would not be adding the COVID jab to the act, but that was before the Omicron virus caused the latest provincial lockdown. Look, we all know that this measure is more about pacifying the board's hysterical teachers and their unions and keeping kids safe. This includes the entire TDSB COVID 19 pandemic recovery plan, which includes a request for funding for N95 masks for kids. Far too many teachers and even principals spend New Year's weekend taking to social media to express their alleged panic, panic, and to pressure the government into keeping classrooms closed. But more than that, it is absolutely outrageous that a group of trustees, most of them leftist and union backed, should be able to dictate that young children need to be jabbed with a new jab that could cause complications, as it has with so many adults, myself included. It is highly unethical and tantamount to child abuse. And one knows that if the TDSB is able to do it, other boards will follow suit. Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. Like the other school boards, they'll see it as a green light to force kids to like force the jabs on on kids as well. So yes, so I'm sure other school boards they're thinking that they can do it as well if the TTSB decides to do it. So then it says we don't live in communist China just yet, but I'm starting not to recognize my Canada anymore. That's the end of the article. So yeah, the last part there. Yeah, like I don't recognize Canada anymore either, as it seems like the country's becoming more like an authoritarian and totalitarian state, as the government and all these like health officers or whatever you want to call them, like they're now like pushing for kids, like like kindergarten age kids to get jabbed, even though they're at they're at the least risk of getting sick and all that. But apparently that's not enough to dissuade the government from forcing them to get these jabs. So that's the end of this article here. So now I want to open up another article, which is about the masks. As as, as now, like the schools, they want to force kindergarten kids to wear the masks. So this is also from True North that says Ontario School Board wants to force kindergartners to wear masks. The Durham District School Board, DDSB in Ontario, wants children aged 4 and 5 years old to wear masks when they return to school for in person learning. According to Durham Radio News, trustees voted to make mask wearing mandatory for kindergartners, even though provincial guidance does not require masks for that age group. So what's the reason for forcing kindergartners to wear the masks if the provincial government isn't recommending it? So what is it? Like is it fear? Like what are they terrified that are they terrified of someone not like like are they terrified that someone will accuse them of not masking the kids? Like what's their reason for for making mask wearing mandatory for kindergartners? It's probably fear. That seems to be a problem in Canada where people just do things out of fear. Then it says, as it stands, kindergartners are currently being strongly encouraged to don masks, according to Durham Catholic District School Board Director of Education Tracy Barrell. There has been a high degree of compliance with the direction. The January 3rd, 2022 motion to force kindergartners to wear masks was moved by trustee Nikki Lundquist and was adopted by the DDSB Standing Committee. Then it says the motion read that masking for all students, including those in kindergarten and junior kindergarten, be made mandatory during in-person learning, subject to credible human rights exceptions only. The Peterborough, the Peterborough, Victoria, Northumberland District School Board have also moved to introduce mandatory masking for kindergartners. As it stands, the Ontario government's policy is to encourage students in kindergarten to wear non medical or cloth masks indoors in school, as well as on school vehicles. So, so actually, yeah, so the Ontario government, so that's the Ontario government's policy is to encourage. Okay, yeah, so the provincial government is like encouraging, kids like kindergartners to wear non-medical masks and all that. So then it says masks are already mandatory for teachers, staff, and students from grades 1 to 12. Other school trustees in Ontario have also pushed for kindergartners to be masked. But like, what's their reason for doing it? Are they terrified the provincial government or even federal government will come after them if they don't mask if they don't mask kindergartners as well? So like, what's their reason for doing that? And then it says, as exclusively reported by True North, Ottawa Carleton District School Board (OCDSB) trustee Lyra Evans put forward a similar motion for mandatory masking for students in all kindergarten classes in August 2022. The motion called uh, August 2022. Uh, maybe it's August 2021 because we're like in the first month of 2022, so I think that's a typo there. And then it says the motion called for the OCDSB to extend the existing mandatory masking mandate to include students in all kindergarten classes. Okay, so that's the end of the article, and yeah, this whole so now that the schools want the kids to be masked, like how are they gonna like how are the kindergartners supposed to learn anything as they're at the age of like development and all that? So now that they have to be masked, it's gonna like really hinder their ability to learn anything as they're not gonna be able to communicate properly, whether it's with the teacher or with their peers, and um, yeah, like I don't, yeah, like I don't see the logic in this. Like why? Like I see like it's more of a negative thing than a positive thing to make kindergartners wear masks because all it's gonna do is it's just gonna pre- prevent them from actually learning anything, and I'm sure like it's gonna like stifle their breathing too as um as they're gonna have to like be wearing those masks for like the whole day, so it's gonna like stifle their breathing, and they're also not gonna be able to learn properly either. So it's really gonna mess up their development. So yeah, like I don't understand like what's the logic in doing all this. Like I'm assuming it's because of fear, like or pressure, because I guess they don't want the government like coming after them in some way, like these school boards. So I'm guessing that's why they want to like force kids to like wear the masks as well as like get the jab. So yeah, I can close that now. So yeah, like I don't. There's no logic in like making these kids like in making kindergartners wear masks and as well as like forcing them to get the jab because it's already been mentioned before how they're like the least affected group of getting sick and all that. So like this whole push to get them masked and jabbed, like it makes no sense. And I'm guessing it's because of fear. Like the school boards are, I guess, terrified of fear, or maybe they're being pressured into like forcing these stuff on the kids. So yeah, like and I, and I don't know, like if the parents, like if they even know about this or if they even care, but it's really like it should concern them as well as their kid isn't going to be able to learn anything if they have to wear a mask the whole day, like even in kindergarten. So as it's going to like really hinder their ability to actually learn anything. So yeah, like I hope yeah, like I hope especially the parents like push back against this because this is like because this is going to affect your kid, and it's going to affect their ability to be able to learn and all that. And so yeah, yeah, like I don't see the logic in forcing these mandates on especially the kindergartners, as they hardly like understand anything. And forcing them to wear masks and forcing them to wear masks and all that, it's really gonna like hinder their ability to learn and to like communicate properly and so on. So yeah, like I hope especially the parents start pushing back against this stuff, as it's all like unlawful, illegal, and it's really going to affect your kids' future. So yeah, that's everything I have to say, and I'll be signing off now.